11th season on campus. Leon Rice, Coach, it's always great to see you. Welcome in. How are things in Boise?
Well, first of all, I believe, and I may be wrong because you start getting the numbers up there and maybe you can become a little forgetful, but I think it's my 12th season in Boise, my 11th in the Mountain West.
Okay, there you go. 11 seasons in the Mountain West. You've been around for a long time. You've seen this league grow. You've seen some ups and downs. What we heard last or yesterday from coaches was this is as deep as they've seen the league in a while. Be curious, having been around the league for now 11 years, what are your thoughts on what you see from the 11 teams?
Well, I would probably have to echo that. I don't know, time will tell on that, but when you look around the league, there's so many great players and we got a list of great coaches. And I've always said that, great players, great coaches, great arenas make for a terrific league. And that's what we have. We've had that all, sometimes we've won more games and got a little more respect nationally. But it made the league, the league was no less tough on those years. I just remember when we moved from the WAC to the Mountain West, I remember calling my buddies at Gonzaga and saying, we'll never win a game in this league. This thing is, and when I first got in this league, it was cooking. And I think my second, third, fourth year, we got 4 or 5 teams in there. So, it's been good all along. I think some years it's jumped to where it's great. And, this could be one of those years because you look around this league and you name a team and there's a special player on that team. And you got great coaches, like I said, that know this league and know how to win games. And then you got some good young coaches coming up too. So there's a nice mix of things in this league and there's competition's going to be great.
Yeah, we agree. And credit to you and your staff and the administration. You not only won some games, you've won a lot of games. You put guys in the NBA, all conference players, all that wrapped into one. You've done a heck of a job up there. We appreciate what you do. If you have a question for Coach Rice, go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get you in queue. Our first stop, the voice of the Boise State Broncos and Bob Buehler. Bob?
Coach, you are correct. It is 12 seasons for you. So 1 plus the 11 of the Mountain West. So
that makes me feel better, Bob. I thought I was losing it a little bit. I thought Jesse was right saying I was the elder statesman.
Yeah. Well, you're just the statesman in my books. So
thank you.
Well, let's start off. You lose Derek Alston and minutes from Ray J. Dennis. I always think starters, who's back as a starter or backup is a bit of a misnomer. It's more minutes. So you're losing about an average of 30 between the two guys. Where do the minutes go? Because obviously somebody like Acott or other starters can't take those minutes. You got to find others. So who are some of the leading candidates that might be new to the team playing the big minutes?
Well, that's an interesting question, Bob, because you look back on our season and you got to see it up close and personal. So you probably can really, really understand this is that, we were, I think 14-2, and then we added Devonair Dutrieve, who's a great player. And what happened, I think, with us that at that time is you start dividing up the minutes even more. And guys, we never seemed to really get as comfortable as we were in those first games as far as rotations and roles. And it just, when you add a guy at semester, no matter who he is, because the year before we added Abu, and they're great players, but there's a chemistry issue to it when you add a guy at semester, and there's a challenge to it. And, sometimes you think, well, you're just going to add another good player. It's going to make you better. Sometimes it throws you off just enough where it changes your chemistry. And I think there was a little bit of that to our team last year, where this year, I think we're kind of settled into, probably who our 7 or 8 are, or close to it. And then we've got, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fighting for a spot to be in that rotation. So I think it's more clearly defined right now. And hopefully that will help us in guys understanding their roles. Some of the new guys that maybe you could look at to fill some minutes. First of all, jumps out at me is the freshman Tyson Dagenhart from Spokane. And, he's a mature kid. He's about 6'8", 230. He's put on 20 pounds since he's been here in the summer and 5 inches in his vertical. And, but he can really shoot the ball. He's super skilled. He does does his job at the highest level. And, out of the young guys, he'd be someone that could jump in right away. The other two, Kobe and RJ, are doing a great job. There's just so many guards, right now in our rotation. It's going to be hard to break that lineup or crack that lineup right now as a freshman. So a lot of those minutes that we have and that you talked about losing, we got a lot of veterans that can fill those minutes.
And Coach, one other guy I wanted to ask about last year, I thought he was tremendously improved as the year went along, is Maladan Armoosh. There are not that many true centers anymore, and he kind of looked to be like one. So what are you expecting from him this year?
Yeah, he had a little back problem this summer. Good time to have it, because right now he's cooking with gas. That guy is playing great basketball, and with our veterans, and that's what I love about them is they're playing. Maybe they're, collectively, not just those individuals, but collectively, those guys are playing at the highest level that they've played at.
Well, thank you for your question, Bob. We'll now go to Rachel Roberts from the Idaho Statesman.
Good afternoon, Coach Rice. You mentioned that Maladan had a little bit of a back injury over the summer. And we know that at the end of the season, Abu had to have shoulder surgery. So are there any injury updates or injuries that might affect playing time or appearances to start the season at this point?
Well, knock on wood, at the start, I think we're as today goes, we're pretty healthy. It seems like this day and age, you have to roll with more things. We have a lot of guys sit a lot of games last year, and you had the COVID protocols and all the things that went on with that. But, we lost Shea for some games, A-Cup for some games, Abu for some games, Max for some games. There was a lot of guys that missed games and didn't have, their full health a lot of the seasons, because not only did they miss games, but maybe they weren't able to practice a lot because of those injuries. Right now, we're as healthy as we've been. You have your preseason bangs and bruises and ankles and things that are nagging and that go on a little bit. But I think by the time the season rolls around, hopefully, knock on wood, we're going to be at full strength.
Well, that's good news. Let's do a hypothetical question next. If you had to take a game-winning shot right now, who on your team would be taking that shot?
And I can't take it?
You can't take it, and then tell me why. Tell me who it is and why.
Yeah. Well, that's a really tough hypothetical. And, that's interesting, because sometimes when you have some teams, there's absolutely, who you want to take it. And that can be nice as a coach sometimes, because where the ball goes. The whole team knows where it's going to go. And if they, you can trust that guy and he's going to hit it. I've got a number of guys that could do that. I got, E-Man's hit some big shots, hit that shot against BYU to beat them last year. Shaver at practice, he's hit more buzzer beaters at the end of shot clocks than anyone I've coached, I think, for a long, long time. Max has got a clutch gene to him. Know that. Abu hit the game winner on San Jose in the second game of the San Jose game. Maladan's made some big shots down the stretch. So we've got a lot of guys. I'm probably forgetting some too. I've seen Tyson do it in high school. I've seen Najee making game-winning shots. And we've got a lot of guys to choose from. I pretty much named almost all of them. Oh, Diner's had 3. How about that? Diner's had 3 game-winning tip-ins. You never see a guard do that. That's unique. He had one in the in the NIT last year against SMU. So how about that? I just named our top 7 have all hit game-winning shots, and I've seen all of those. So I think it's one of those, do what the game tells you to do is going to be important for our guys at the end of the game. And maybe the game will dictate who's got the hot hand a little bit. And then trusting each other will be more important than, okay, this guy, I don't care if 3 guys guard you. You know, I think when we had Adam Morrison at Gonzaga, it was like, if 10 guys guard you and you have a broken leg, still shoot it because you'll make it. And he would. And we've got guys that can make them, but we got guys that if they trust the game, you know, reading what the game tells them, they'll make the right play, trusting their teammates. And those guys are certainly capable of making those winning shots.
Well, Coach, we'll now go to the San Diego Union Tribune and hear from Mark Ziegler.
Hey, Coach.
Hello, Mark.
How you doing? I know you've spoken a little bit about this before, but if you look at the 3 programs that replaced their coaches last year, all 3 coaches had no familiarity with this league before they got into it. You took a few years when you got into this league. You just talked about that to get up to where you are now. And all the other coaches that have had success currently had previous success in the league or previous experience in the league. What would you tell some of these new coaches who have no experience in this league about why it's so unique and why it's so hard to win?
Yeah. It's an eye opener because I think the first thing is the places you have to play and the home courts you have to deal with. And it's tough. And then, you know, you throw in the things like altitude and there's a lot of factors to winning on the road in this league. And that's an eye opener. I mean, everyone, you know, those coaches aren't ignorant of it. And, you know, Coach Kruger has been in this league some, and he's seen that. So he understands that. And, you know, he was a player, he gets it. He's played at a lot of these venues probably. And, you know, so I would say that's probably the number one thing is how hard it is to pick up, you know, and that's common in college basketball. That's a little bit of a generic statement because everywhere you go in college basketball, it's tough to win on the road. And I just think in the Mountain West, it's got to be one of the toughest places to go and pick up a road win, you know, under duress and weather and altitude and fans and then good teams and good coaches. I think that was probably the biggest eye opener.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Our next stop, John Tito with Hoops HD.
Good afternoon, Coach. Max started last season by scoring in double digits in 5 of his first 10 games, and then he did not score 10 points in any game the rest of the year, missed the NIT with a foot injury. 2 questions. How is his foot, and what kind of scoring output do you expect from him this year?
Well, you know, his role diminished a little bit. Like I said, everybody's minutes diminished a little bit when we got another guy eligible. And I think that was hard because that changed a lot of things. And I think Max has a role with this team. And the number one thing that he does is make others better because of the way he moves the ball. And he can really pass. And, you know, he has a great assist to turnover ratio. And so I think when you started squeezing his minutes, I think that affected some of the other players, not just with his scoring and in his shooting, the way he could space the floor, but the way he can move the ball and make others better. And then, you know, not only did he have his foot, he broke his foot against Nevada, but he had hip surgery in the offseason too. And, you know, he was gifted with bad genes and those bad genes caused him to have some hip surgery. So he's doing great though. He's moving better than maybe I've seen him move before. And I think he's playing the best I've seen him play. And I think his role is going to be expanded a little bit with that this year.
Thank you, John. And Coach, thank you for spending some time with us. And I'll tell you what, now in your 12th season, you can take any game-winning shot that you want, but only because you're in your 12th season.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Only because of that. No question. 11
there you go.
years.
It's always
That's a long time to grind in this league for sure.
That is true. It's always great to see you, Coach Rice. Good luck to the Broncos. Look forward to seeing you down the line.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you guys.
You bet. That's Leon Rice, the head coach of the Boise State Broncos. Not done, though, talking Bronco basketball. We roll on.
We absolutely do. I mean, this Boise State team, you heard it, there were a couple off-season surgeries that went on, but Coach Leon Rice seems like he's very excited about the team that he's put together, and especially hearing about his son, Max Rice.
Yeah, they have so many ways that they can score and hit you in so many ways. Got a great rim protector in Maladan Armoosh. They have all the tools certainly to be a contender once again, just like they are each and every year. It's been a tremendous program since they joined this league, and the preseason polls right at 4 behind 3 teams that receive first place votes. So Boise State certainly is going to be there when we come to March, so long as they stay healthy. There's no reason to think that this is a team that cannot contend throughout the regular season and certainly in the conference tournament.
Well, one of those players who played a big role last year and will play another big role for the Broncos this year is Abu Kijab, who we now bring in from Boise State. Abu, how are things going for you?
Things are going great. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to see the Broncos get back out on the court again this season. Last year, you were selected to the All-Mountain West second team. What has the offseason been like for you and keeping your game up?
The offseason has just been a grind. I've been taking it day by day, working on my game, helping my teammates get better, and it's been a lot of fun. And I'm very excited to be out there with my team this year.
Well, if you have a question for Abu, please make sure to raise your hand to enter the queue. Last season, you missed the Mountain West tournament with a shoulder injury. Are you feeling up to speed, feeling healthy once again?
Yeah, I'm feeling very healthy. My body feels great. My mind feels great. I'm just ready to get back out there.
Well, you were Boise's second leading scorer and rebounder last year. You paced the team with 22 block shots, 31 steals, ranked second on the team. What have you specifically worked on? I mean, you had a great season last year, but what has been your specific focus this offseason to continue to elevate your game?
I've been just working on that 3-ball and making 0.5 decisions. I think that's the next evolution in my game, and I think I've been doing a pretty good job. And like I said, I'm just going to continue to take it day by day, and the results will take care of themselves.
If you want to participate in our Q&A session with Abu Kijab, you can raise your hand and we'll get you in the queue. Abu, our first question comes from the voice of the Boise State Broncos, Bob Buehler.
Abu, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Bob.
Well, as we look to your season, you could have been done last year. You get a chance because of COVID to come back for another year. So what are you looking forward to most about this season, and what are you looking to get out of it?
I'm looking forward to playing with my teammates. We got a great group of guys, very unselfish and willing to make the extra plays and do the right thing to always win. And I'm very excited to play with a group like that. And, you know, we went through our ups and downs during COVID, but I think that's what's going to make us special this year. And I'm very excited about it.
Now, you're a guy that contributes in a lot of different ways. What do you see as your role? What is going to be your most important role to this team?
Just winning, being a competitor and going out there and winning every single game if we can. And obviously the season's going to have its ups and downs, but, you know, it's up to me to just continue to lead and lead by example for my team.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Next stop, the Idaho Statesman and Rachel Roberts.
Hi, Abu. Back for your third season now, I guess, or 2.5, if you want to call it. What would you say is the early identity and strengths of this team this year?
We can defend and we can really get out in transition. Those are our 2 biggest strengths as of right now. And I'm, very excited to play with these guys because they play so hard and they love to compete. And that's really fun when you got 5 guys on the same page on the defensive end. It just makes the job a lot easier. So I'm very excited about that.
You guys did have kind of a lot of off-season rehab going on. Do you see people coming, yourself included, do you see guys coming back bigger and better and stronger, or how do you think the rehab went?
The rehab has been going great. Guys have just been putting in work every single day. And, this is just what we do here at Boise State. We take it day by day. And I'm very excited for these guys because they really put in a lot of work here. And it's going to pay off. I'm very excited for it.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll go to John Tiedel from Hoops HD. And as a reminder, if you have a question for Abu, please make sure to raise your hand in the queue.
Hey, Boo, I just wanted to know, as somebody who was a transfer from the Ducks and who plays on a roster with several other guys who transferred in from other schools, what do you see as the key to getting everyone together on the same page? Is it more about bonding or getting time on the court or something else?
There's a lot of factors, obviously, to that question, but the main thing is just chemistry. That's what it really comes down to. Can the right guys be out there at the right time, and can those guys make the right plays and the game-winning plays? And I'm very excited about this group because I think, this group does a great job of that, and I'm looking forward to playing with everybody.
Thank you, John. If you have a question, you can go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get you in queue. Abu, Coach talked about Maladan Armoosh and his health and him being back at health. You spoke on defense being one of your strengths. How big of a defender is he, and how much better is he than we last saw him on the courts as far as an impact maker in the paint on the defensive end?
He's a really good defender. He's great at impacting the ball. We could trust him to switch out on the guard and, hold his position and make him take a tough two. He's a lot more mobile this year, so that's going to help greatly with our defense, and I'm very excited for him. We call him the Beast of the East. So, he's going to get the job done on both ends for us.
And you talked about getting out in transition. I look at a guy like Marcus Shaver, terrific scorer. How do you find ways to get him the basketball to be that guy once again and even better?
Marcus Shaver's a heck of a guy. He can shoot the ball. He can get in the paint. He makes the right plays. And it's up to us to find him. He's our sniper of the team, and I'm very excited and very happy to have him back. He's going to do a lot for us this year, and, I'm very excited for him.
We'll now go to Rachel Roberts from the Idaho Statesman for another question.
Hi again, Abu. Earlier in the offseason, Lexus Williams was hired as an assistant to the head coach. Are you getting to know him at all, and is he able to interact with you guys and help you?
Yeah, I love Lexus. He's I call him my little big bro, but he's older than me. I'm just bigger than him in size, but he's a great guy. Works out with us before practice. We watch film with him. He helps us out. He's a really, really good guy, helps us out a lot. And, we're very fortunate to have him, and I'm very glad he's here.
Thank you.
Well, Rachel, thank you for your question, Abu. We appreciate you taking the time to join us today for Media Days. We look forward to seeing the Broncos get back out on the court this season.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.